I am so glad that you are here. We are doing this thing on planet Earth. Holy moly. I'm sending so much love to your light. Thank you for being here with me in this space and for being here with me as a human on planet Earth right now as we move through to the other side, break on through to the other side. So what wanted to come through today, what I want to speak to is I hear a lot about the death of the ego. And as we're collapsing third dimensionality and being reborn, which is really resurrected into the remembrance of who we are at soul level, there is this perception of the death of the ego, of the egoic self, that a piece of the ego must die in order for the soul to come through. And so what wanted to be spoken in response to that is that this egoic death, as they call it, this fractaling, this fragmenting of the ego, of the egoic self, is what leaves us in this space of feeling like, I don't know what I'm doing, where I'm going, what's next. There's a lot of this unknown. We're releasing and letting go of so many things. We're releasing and letting go of old pathways and relationships and homes and jobs and belief systems and core belief systems and illusions and who we thought we were, who we thought the world was, all of it. It's like the mass deconstruction, right? For rebirth. And we're all doing it collectively, whether we're conscious of it or not. Most are conscious of it because you can't avoid it. It's like this, right? When it's right at your nose, you must pay attention to some degree. There's no getting around it. So as everything's fractaling and the ego's fractaling, we're in this, I don't know who I am. There's been times through this dark night of the soul that I've been moving through myself over these last 5 or 6 months where I'm like, I don't know who I am. I don't know how I serve. And that's the ego fragmenting. But at the core, I know who I am. I know what I'm here to do, as most of us do. So this balance between the egoic self and the truest essence of who we are. And so the I don't knowing is part of what I wanted to talk about today, but also the ego. And what does it mean? And by definition, ego in Latin is I. It is the I. And part of what we're releasing in this transition into higher consciousness and higher dimensionality is the limitations and separations of third dimensionality, which is the I separate from the we. And the ego holds that I, and it holds that I am separate from all things. And so as the ego is fractaling, I believe that it's not dying as much as it's needing to be integrated into a new expression and a new way of being. The ego is part of the consciousness of humanity. And although it must deconstruct, when we put death to it, all it wants to do is hold on. Right? It's just like the programs of the mind. It holds the programs of the mind. And when we say, you got to shut off the mind gets louder. And when we say, I'm going to kill the ego fights for its life and it gets louder. So what we're looking to do is not destroy. We are looking to disintegrate the attachments to integrate into the new. And so if the ego is defined as the I, where we're moving into is the we, that there is no separation, that we are one with everything, everyone, all experiences, which is our fifth dimensional expression. So we go from the ego to the we go, right? From the I to the we. And so there's an integration period. My guides have been saying, and the Light Council has been saying for these last few months, you will die 1,000 deaths in order to be reborn 1,000 times. And that's what we're doing. Pieces and parts of us are going through a death portal, but it's to be recognized, reconciled, reactivated, resurrected into a new expression. And because of our limitation in our third dimensionality, we perceive it all as death, but what it really is rebirth. And one cannot exist without the other. So part of what's coming through in this is integration and an allowance and moving from this I don't know. And I'm finding myself saying this a lot, like, I don't know what's next, I don't know. So here's the remedy for the I don't knows. Because at soul level, you do know. And there's a couple of things that wanted to come through. Again, there's so much unknown right now. And as Spirit has been saying for so long, attach to nothing, allow for everything. So here's the 3 steps. It's okay not to know. but stick with what you do know. What do you know in this moment? And when you reintegrate into the knowing, even if it's one thing, I know that I'm here to be of service, of light. If that was the only thing that I stood in the knowing of, it would be enough. And once we stand in the spot of what it is we do know, then we await, step 2, the next step, one step at a time. Sit in the knowing of what it is you do know. Find comfort, pause, gratitude in that, and then await the next step. And there's a reframe available within this. So every time we tell the universe something that is a limitation, a limiting belief, a contraction, the universe says, great, right? So if we're telling the universe over and over and over again, our higher consciousness, I don't know, then everything says, great, then we'll keep you in a state of unknowing. Would you be willing to move into the curiosity which creates the possibility? To reframe it. I am willing to be shown. I am willing to know what my next step is. I can't wait to know what is for me or what is coming. So the reframe opens the door to possibilities. It's part of the access consciousness. It turns all of the conclusions into possibilities, right? So the conclusion is, I don't know. And the question is, what would it be like if I did know? And what would it take to know? And I am willing to know that which I cannot yet see. That reframe creates a plethora of possibilities and puts you into the co-creation of the universal intelligence, which you are one of, the we-go as opposed to the ego. You are one with all of the knowing. And this is the deconstruction for rebirth and resurrection for our highest consciousness. And we're doing it. And wow, what a journey it is. So the ego is deconstructing to be reborn and integrated at a higher level. Stick with what it is you do know. Be curious about what it is you do know. Ask for clarity about the knowing so that it can become more clear to you. Together we go, we grow, we rise together as one. I am sending so much love to your light. I am honored to be on this journey with you. We're doing it one step at a time. I love you. Have a blessed day.